Hi there guys, my name's Sharon and I'm here from the TDF and you're listening to Radio Broccoli. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about positivity. And to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you into a scene in a movie. And I want you, albeit by the radio, to tell me what happens next. So it's Christmas Eve, it's a beautiful night, and there's gentle snowfall. And there's a young family of 4 in a car on the way to Grandma's house for dinner. The car is loaded with gifts, all wrapped perfectly, and there's laughter. And then on the radio station starts to play the kids' favourite Christmas song. Well, you can imagine the scene. The kids go absolutely berserk in the back of the car and everyone breaks into song. And the camera then pans in on the faces of the kids, the faces of the mom, the face of the dad. But what happens next? Car crash, right? 60% of people say car crash. And another 10 to 15% have equally fatalistic, but maybe more creative outcomes. There's a lady I know who's done this before, and she said that, they all got to Grandma's house, but then there was a serial killer on the loose, everyone was dead. But basically, no one ever says, well, they get to Grandma's and they go on to have a great Christmas. That's never the response. So why is that? Well, that's because of something which we're going to have a look at in a few moments. And it brings me back to what we're here to talk about today, positivity. And if you've listened to any of my stuff before, you know that I talk about, the mind and how it works and what it likes. And we have to always remember our brain's primary function is to keep us safe and to keep us alive. It's not to make us positive. It's not to make us happy. It's not to get us skipping down the street. That's not its function. That's our job. So it would be really easy for me to sit here and do like some other people and kind of get you to do loads of whoop whoop stuff and kind of, really big you up and get you into that positive space and that positive energy. Really easy, super easy, and I love doing it. But to be effective for today and effective for you guys listening, I want to give you some kind of clear strategies around how the brain works and how to actually foster positivity within your life, because positivity isn't something you get, okay? It's not something you're going to get from listening to any recording for 5 minutes. I hate to say that, and I do this as a living, but it's just not, okay? Positivity is fostered by positive thought, but positive thought that leads to positive action, okay, and positive change within your own life. You can't just listen into a positivity recording and then go away and do nothing with it. It just doesn't work that way. So I hate to dash your dreams or maybe be seen as negative in a positivity talk, but I also want to be real with you, and I also want to leave you with something that's probably different from what you're hearing out there. So, because again, I work in this space, and there are so many people out there just kind of going, oh yeah, I big them up for 5 minutes and blah, and then when they leave, they fall flat. They forget that they need to do something with it. So this session is not for people who just want the noises to stop or for, to feel positive for 5 minutes. This is for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired and who want to actually start to change. It's that simple. If you went to your garden and you started shouting, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, you might be right actually for 5 minutes, but over time, if that's all you ever did, weeds will definitely set in. You don't need me to tell you that. And if the garden is already full of weeds and those weeds are waist high, again, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, great, cool, but there are weeds. Sometimes there are weeds. And it's how this recording is going to help you effectively understand how that positive thinking needs to turn to positive action. Okay? Because that's what will really make the difference in your life. And it's a commitment as well to positive thinking and to positive action. Because a bit like if you go to the gym and you start lifting weights, you need to do it more than once. And some days you won't have that great a session. Okay? So it needs to be a commitment. Now, when faced with weeds that are waist high, envisaging and believing in what it might look like if the garden is clear is definitely a positive way to be. And thinking about what actions you need to take, and if I do this today and that tomorrow and this the following day, positive thinking can definitely help. So please don't think I'm, poo-pooing positive thinking. I think it completely has a place. All I'm saying is if that's all you're after, then I'm not sure I really see much change in for you. And now I understand as well, obviously we're talking to a hospital full of people, and some of you guys will have had quite life-changing things happen to you. And that's again why I want to talk about this. positive thinking and thinking, oh yeah, things are going to be good. I completely understand that is not where you are right now. But wherever you are in this process, wherever you are on your journeys, be it, you're dealing with someone who's in hospital or you're in hospital for some tragic reason, I want you to think, there are definitely things you can do to turn your life around and to help support yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to give you one of my favourite quotes, which is Elon Musk. And he says, if you need inspiring words, don't do it. Okay? Now, that could be a driver to some people and it won't for others. So this is not about a list of affirmations like every day in every way I'm getting better and better. This is an action list, which if followed, can train you to think positively and train that muscle within you. And again, as with a lot of my recordings, I promise you I've done this stuff myself, okay? The life I have now is not what I had 5 years ago. So positivity, like I say, is something you do. It's not something you get. And it's something that you need to train and foster within your life. I hear my clients saying stuff all the time, something good's about to happen and then bam, there's this picture of something horrible happening. Or they've had something tragic happen to them and they're like, well, my life can never be the same again. You're kind of right. But your life doesn't have to be all bad, okay? You can turn things around. You can make it much more positive than the pictures that you're painting in your own mind, okay? And I know some of you are thinking, positive thinking is BS. Well, my suggestion would be that that's just your belief system, okay? And your mind, like a parachute, works better if it's open. So if you never listen to anything else I talk about or anything else I do think this session and I do think this recording has a place for you, okay? And I'd appreciate it, and I think it would be right for you to just give it half an hour. Because, like I say, I'm going to actually try and give you action points and things which you can do, which can create positive thinking and then create positive action. Because every positive thought creates a positive action, and it has an impact on your body at a cellular level. It's been proven. You can Google it. You don't need me to talk about it. But even if you take something like a bottle of water and you say positive things to it, it has a different impact on the water than if you say horrible things to it. Or you can Google, that there's plants out there. If you say positive things to the plants, they start to grow and they flourish. If you say horrible things to the plants, if you say negative thoughts to the plants, then they can wither and die. And, it's the same with ourselves. So what I found, like I was saying in my own sessions with clients, is a lot of them have, these horrible images that come up right after something great's happened. So I want you to start getting used to kind of controlling your mind, because what I find is instead of people actually going for what they want, everyone seems to have started to adopt this thing of, it's easier to live with disappointment than to feel disappointment. I'll say that again. So there's lots of people walking around and they're thinking it's easier to live with disappointment than to feel disappointment. So there are plenty of people out there who would rather beat positivity to the punch and take no action in the areas where they need to, because it's just too painful to do something that might end in disappointment. So disappointment becomes a lifestyle for many people. And this includes where we sidestep actually getting excited because we're not really sure if it's going to happen or we're not really sure if it's going to work out. But again, from what I've seen, you can't selectively numb emotions. So you can't numb the dark emotions, because when you do, by default, you numb the good ones. If you continue to numb disappointment to the point where you just kind of exclude it as an option from your life, then you miss out on the positive side of life. You numb excitement. You numb possibility. You numb relationships. And most importantly, you begin to numb the relationship you have with yourself, because you actually start to lose feelings. And I think this is a huge part of the problem, because people have felt failure somewhere or something's happened that is horrible. And instead of getting back out there and doing what they can do and looking at things in a positive way, they'd rather not. Because what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if I'm wrong? Now, I've had that conversation quite a few times with a lot of people. And I have to say, even in my own industry, I've met people out at events and places, where we just hang out. And, even in my own game, I get lots of people saying, I'm not sure you should really be getting people's hopes up. And I'm always stunned at that. I think it's crazy. I think the world could do with a dose of people getting their hopes up and trying things new. and going for what's right. You know, I mean, God forbid anyone would ever get their hopes up, right? Can you imagine if we did that to kids at Christmas? Well, you know, I'm not really sure that would be a nice way to live, but we do it as adults. We do it all the time. Something bad happens and we stop. We stop and we sit. And we get in pain and we do nothing. And we listen to a positivity recording. It works for 5 minutes. And then we blame the kind of industry or the recordings and say, oh, they don't work, nothing works, clearly nothing works for me, I've got it worse than anybody else. It's not true. You didn't follow up. You haven't taken any action. You know, you might get things wrong. Things might not work. Sometimes things just don't work out. That is life. You know, but if you want to reap, you need to sow. And not every seed will take. Any farmer will tell you that. It's just the way it is. The good news is, though, the more often that you go out and you do those things and you take those actions, the more often you try for and go for those successes, even if you fail, you have a greater chance of success than not doing anything. And how cool is that? Even if you fail, you get good stuff. And if you don't fail, you get good stuff. So clearly, action is the key here. But without that positive thought, it can be quite hard. So I want you to remember again, your mind is very much like a parachute. It works much better when it's open. So I'm going to give you 3 steps now, 3 steps I firmly believe in that will, you know, change your life and change the kind of positivity that is going on in your life. And they'll have a huge impact on you moving forward. But remember, positivity is not something you get, it's something you do. Okay, and just like going to the gym, you need to start making it a habit. Because positivity is a habit. It's not about circumstances. It's not about where you are. It's not about how much money you've got in your bank account. It's not about where you live in the world. It's not none of that stuff. Okay, positivity for me comes down to 3 things. So step 1 is your focus. You constantly have to be thinking about where your focus is going, because if you're constantly looking at what you don't have or what you're not getting, then you'll live in a world of lack. It's that simple. You know, energy goes where focus flows. So you have to start changing your focus. Remember, our brain's only function is to keep us alive. It's not to make us happy. It's not to make us positive. You know, it literally is to protect us and keep us alive. It's the only function it has. The rest is up to you. Okay, so just like, you know, being happy, it's something you do. It's not something you get. Okay, so if you want to be positive, it's got to be something you do, not something you're waiting to get. Okay, not something. Positivity is not something someone else, me or anyone else, can give you. It's something which you have to foster in your own life. And like anything, you have to start a bit of a training program. So, you know, where we're talking about the training program, you know, if you wanted to feel excited right now, what could get you excited? What could you think about that could get you excited? Go on, give it a go. You know, or if you wanted to be proud of something right now, what could you be proud of? You know, who do you really love? Who lights you up? And if you're still not getting anything on these, don't worry, I've got something for you in a minute. But I want you to try something else, okay? If you wanted to feel happy, and if you wanted to feel that kind of like belly laugh that you've had before, okay, who or what do you need to think of? What circumstance do you need to think of where you get that belly laugh, okay? What could make you just roar with laughter now on the wards, okay? If you had to think about something else. Go on, just try it. How have you changed? How has your posture changed? How has your body changed? How have you changed? And do you feel like if you had to make a decision right now, you'd make a better decision than you would have 2 minutes ago? You see, you have to change your focus in order to change your state. And by changing your state, you'll automatically gravitate towards more positive thought and more positive thinking. And it'll automatically put you in that place where you're like, okay, well, what can I do? What could I do? As opposed to thinking, oh, you know, there's nothing I can do. You have to start changing your focus on a regular basis. And I'd recommend actually probably for about 7 days, you know, kind of any time you have any sort of negative thought. It's not to say that it's not valid or whatever else, but kind of go, whoa, hang on a minute. How can I think about this positively? So I'll give you an example this week. I had back-to-back clients. I had these recordings to get together. I had some stuff going on at home. I had photography to sort out for my family. I had 1,000,001 things to go on. And now they're all good things. But I got complete and total overwhelm, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get this all done? Why did you leave it all till the last minute? Why can't you be doing these things earlier? You knew for a month you had this rate, and you just go into a complete meltdown. Okay, so I'm not perfect, I do it as well, but I don't stay there. It's a very, very momentary thing with me. I'm used to talking to myself in a good way. So I go, whoa, hang on a minute. All of this stuff is good stuff. You're going on the radio, you're talking about positivity and what you do. That's amazing. You're going to help people in the hospital. You've got a family photo shoot. This is all amazing stuff. So what is actually going on? What can you do right now to change things? So I made a few calls. I got some people to help me out. And I found a solution. Okay? All because I changed my focus. I didn't focus on, I haven't got enough time. I haven't got this. I haven't got that. I focused on, wow, this stuff is all actually really cool. So how can I do it in a better way? How can I make sure I make the most out of this situation? And so I get to enjoy all this stuff as well. Literally, really simple thing. Just catch yourself and just start changing your focus. And if you do that, I promise you'll automatically go to more positive stuff. It's not for me to tell you what that positive stuff is, because we're all different. But if you can catch yourself, just catch yourself. That's all you need to do. Just go, whoa, hang on a minute. Let's turn this around. Okay? And it's actually quite an easy thing to do. And if you can start doing that, and literally over the course of the next 7 days, almost keep a log or a diary, I promise you it will start to become more automatic. You'll start to get less negative thoughts, and you live in a much, much better state. Part 2 is your language patterns and the phrases that you use. Now, some people might not be a fan of hypnotherapy, but I promise you, I hear so much hypnosis going on around the place, it's not even funny. Okay? Because phrases, in particular, hypnotize us. So the phrases that you're repeatedly saying to yourself are hypnotizing you. So just like our focus, we need to listen to our language patterns, and we probably need to change some of them. I hear it all the time. These people, oh, why does this always happen to me? Well, it doesn't always happen to you. But if you ask a stupid question, you're going to get a stupid answer. Or, you get those people come in and they're like, why can't I ever lose any weight? Well, you can lose weight. But again, if you ask a bad question, you get a bad answer. So if you can think about the stuff that you're saying to yourself and the phrases that you're saying to yourself, and again, make a point of writing some of those down for 7 days and start to notice what you're actually saying to yourself. Because I think there's so many people out there who don't actually realise that what an effect their own language has on them. If you can start doing that, that's also going to really, really help you. Thinking is an innate question, isn't it? What is thinking? Where is this going? Should I do this? We're asking questions of ourselves all day long. But if you're asking bad questions, then chances are you're not going to get great answers. So you need to come up with better questions, because you see, questions direct us, and questions are a form of language. So if you want to change your life in a really quick and easy way, discover what questions you're asking yourself or what you're saying to yourself and change them. I used to have one as well. I used to kind of go around going, oh, I'd probably look stupid if I was really skinny anyway. What a question. What a thing to say to yourself, and what a kind of way to kind of block yourself in. It's ridiculous. But it wasn't until I caught it and I realised what I was doing. And I used to say that out loud to people as well. Some of the stuff that you're saying is going to be hypnotising you, whether you like it or not. And it wasn't me, it was you. So have a look at what you're saying to yourself and how you're using your language, and see if there's a few things that you can change. And again, it will have a positive impact on your thinking and a positive impact on your actions. And then that finally leads us on to part 3. And part 3 is the big one, and it's the bit that no one likes, but I'm afraid you need to do it. It's taking action, okay? There's no point in writing down all these things or listening to this recording if you're not going to do anything, okay? So you do need to start changing the words that you're saying to yourself, changing, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and kind of catching yourself in those situations, but then using that for some sort of benefit and taking action, okay? So you have to consciously kind of, change the language, consciously change what you're thinking about, consciously change your focus. And if you can do those things, I promise you, and again, I've done this myself, and a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have gone for this stuff at all, but it works. So if you can do it, and if you can change it, and just try it for 7 days, I promise you, in 7 days' time, you'll naturally be a more positive thinker, because you'll be thinking about solutions, you'll be thinking about what you can do, and you'll be thinking about what steps you can take to live a better life and to lead a better life and to move on and move forward and to grow. because that's what we're all here to do, really, is to grow and move forward. And progress is what makes us happy, really. And if we're constantly making progress in ourselves and progress in our lives, then by default we will be happy. Even if it's the wrong one sometimes, because at least you try it and you can try something else, and you did it, and you said you were going to do it. So action is really, really important. If you're going to just sit there and listen to recordings and go and meditate and kind of do nothing, it's action that's important, and I think it's what most people are missing. So with that in mind, I've got a recording for us, and it's all to do with the emphasis on focus and praising yourself, because we want to make praise more embedded in you, and it'll help to change your language. So we're going to concentrate on the kind of focus on focus and that kind of language part, praising yourself. And I promise you that will then change your actions, and it will then change your life. Okay. So I want you now to just find a space where you can get comfortable, and it could be in a chair or a bed. Really doesn't matter. And as you get yourself comfortable now, just want you to start to focus on your breathing and the gentle rise and fall of your chest. And in a moment, I just want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. And as you breathe out now, just start to relax even more. And I want you to imagine that there are 10 steps in front of you. And those 10 steps could be 10 steps anywhere. They could be 10 steps to a beach, 10 steps in your home, 10 steps in the most amazing hotel. And it really doesn't matter where they are, because this is your session, and you're going to do it ever so well. As you take a step forward now, you reach step 10. And you can see your feet, hear your feet, and feel your feet as your foot and yourself move down from step 10 to 9. You're taking step 9 now as you move down, drift down, float down to an even deeper level. You're taking step 8. And every muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 7 now, as you go deeper still, and still deeper. You're taking step 6 now, as you float down, drift down, move down to an even deeper level, and an even deeper awareness of yourself. And you're taking step 5 now, and you're going twice as deep on every step, and deeper than you normally do. From 5 to 4. Just letting all the tensions fade away, and opening your mind for positive suggestion. On 3 and 2 now. You're deeper than you've ever been before. And as you move to 1, you're going to go deeper and deeper, and sink deeper, and even deeper still. And as you go deeper into a relaxed state, as you drift deeper, sink deeper, you understand that your mind does exactly what it thinks it wants you to do. And you make a point of letting your mind know, clearly, precisely, and accurately, what it is you want, what it is that you really want, what you insist on. And you give yourself massive praise. You become an expert at praising yourself all the time. You become superior at praising yourself. And as you go deeper, your inner mind motivates you and conditions you. It compels you to think more positively and to change your focus and to always live in a world of abundance, never a world of lack. This is beginning to become completely familiar to you. And every day you feel motivated to praise yourself more and more. And at the same time, you become more motivated and more conditioned and completely compelled to shut down any criticism and any negative thoughts and to silence that inner critic. And you're doing a phenomenal job, an amazing job. You have the most incredible power now to increase praise and to shut down criticism. You have, and you use that power. And you take it with you each and every day. Every time you listen to this recording, that grows within you. Your power to shut down criticism quickly and easily, and to turn things around. You praise yourself and you praise other people, and you shut down destructive criticism of yourself and of others too. You're not looking at what you're getting. You're looking at what you can achieve and what you can do and how you can live a better life. And every day your inner mind motivates you and compels you and conditions you and enables you to do this easily. Even if a negative thought was to come up, you quickly catch it, look at it, and you turn it around. You take action because you know that action is the key. Action is the key to living a better life. And even if there's tough stuff to be said or to be done, you do it easily. And your emphasis changes, your focus changes, and you look at what you can do, you look at what you can achieve, and you look at how your life will be better for it. Your desire to be superior at praise and unfamiliar with destructive criticism is becoming more and more apparent. And every day as you do this action, you take this action, and you hear these words, you respond to these suggestions perfectly. You know that whatever you focus on, you move towards, and you're focusing now on being gifted and outstanding and natural and true. And you're giving yourself easily and effortlessly praise, the praise that you've always wanted to hear, and the praise that you so desperately need right now. And at the same time, destructive criticism is being made so very unfamiliar. It is an echo of a former life, and echoes die out quickly. It is something that you used to do, that cannot and will not and does not influence you ever again. It is out of your life. It is in the past. It is so far behind you. You feel calm, and you feel like you're growing in your self-esteem every day, because you praise yourself and you change your focus with ease. You massively boost your own self-confidence, and as you praise yourself and praise others every day, your sense of self-esteem and self-worth is increasing all the time, and your self-image is increasing all the time. You're becoming better and more powerful, and you're changing things. You're taking action. You're taking positive action that will support you every day, and each and every day in your future life. And every day you believe in your ability to grow in praise, and you influence your own mind by listening to these words and by using new phrases, more empowering statements, and your mind and your body is influenced by them. And it loves this new you, this new way of being, this new way of thinking positively, and you influence your mind. You've made up your mind, you've set your mind, you've programmed your mind, you've conditioned your mind to allow praise in. And by praising yourself and others, it becomes so natural to you. It's the first thing that you do every morning, and it's the last thing that you do every night. You always praise yourself, and you're your own best friend, and you praise yourself with ease. If you make a mistake, you simply learn from it. If something tragic happens, you'll still find the best for you. You'll still understand and grow. No one ever asks for tragedy in their lives, but it can often come. And even if it does, you remember what's important to you. You remember to love yourself and to praise yourself and to praise those around you, and you go for what's right. This is a new chapter, but you decide if it's a good story or a bad one. You can turn it around. Become the kind of parent to yourself that you would like to have. Nurturing, encouraging, praising, morale boosting, and self-esteem boosting. And you do this over and over again. And this image of yourself now is praising yourself more and more, and praising the other people in your life. You are real, you're authentic, and you're genuine. And this image now is becoming so clear, and so real, and so lifelike. It is you. This image of you now leaving behind all negativity, and simply self-destructive criticism, which is of no use to anybody. This new image now of you being a more powerful, more creative person, a person who looks towards solutions, and a person who takes action. Even if negative thoughts come in, you can look at them, but you do something about them. You turn things around, Absolutely everything is in the right place at the right time, and it is compelling you, programming you, and motivating you to grow in praise and to grow into this new phase of your life. As you go deeper into an absolutely relaxed state, you're shutting down, you are smashing, you're erasing and eradicating, you're eliminating forever that old critical voice that you may have been brought up with. You are filling yourself now with praise, and you're filling yourself with positive questions and positive images of the life that is ahead of you. If your brain doesn't have a direction, well, it doesn't know where to go. So you put in good thoughts now. You put in new images and you say new things, and your brain brings you towards them. It brings you towards those things which you want and which you're after, because you change and switch your focus. You focus only on what is good. You focus only on what supports you, and you focus only on where you live abundantly and how you create an abundant life. Even if you don't have it now, positivity has nothing to do with the numbers in your bank account. It is all to do with how you think, how you speak to yourself, and the focus that you have. And also, as we've discussed, this new positive action, which is created within you. Merely listening to these words now is motivating you and driving you to take more positive action. And taking this more positive action leads you to a new life, a positive life, the life that you want. You remember that you always say thank you. You remember that you have a voice and you can speak up and you speak out. You know what is right and you know what you need to do. You feel so good from this self-praise, and it is filling you up each and every day. You praise yourself. You praise yourself every day, morning, noon, and night. You do it with ease, and you do it every day, and this becomes a powerful new habit, and one which you take with you for the rest of your life. You feel so good every time you praise other people, and you praise yourself. You're boosting everyone's energy levels. You look at how you show up in the situation, and you focus on what you can do. You understand that your mind is letting in your own praise now, and that it is shutting out any criticism that might be there from the past. It has no power over you anymore. It's nothing more than an echo, and echoes die out very quickly. You're building your own confidence now every day. You're building up praise and wiring your brain to let praise in, and to sort out and shut out that old criticism. You're feeling amazing, and you're remembering that words are the most powerful. The words that you wanted to hear as a child now, you say them to yourself. And you remember those words. Those words are the most important words that you'd ever want to hear. You praise yourself now when you're doing a phenomenal job. You praise yourself and you praise those around you. If your boss or your colleague or a partner or anybody is not praising you, you simply praise yourself. And your praise reservoirs are filling up, and you're filling yourself with praise every day. You fill other people up with praise too, because you always look and feel that you have a life in abundance. It's much easier than focusing on lack. Focusing on a lackful situation will only give you more of it. So you focus on what you have. You focus on what is good and what is right for you. And you focus on positive action. So just let yourself go deeper now. And as you do, you think of the words that you would like to hear and feel yourself. And you think of those words. The words that would make you happier. The words that would support you. Of course, happiness is an inside job. And you're responsible for your own happiness. So you think these words now. These words that would make you happier and give you a richer life. And you say these words to yourself. You are reacting to the words that you're saying. And you are praising yourself. And this praise is becoming your reality. It is staying with you now for the rest of your life. And as you praise yourself, you remember what you want to hear. And you fill up on those words that you would love to hear. And you just feel amazing. You give that praise to yourself. You don't need anybody's permission. And in giving it to yourself, you think more positively, you act more positively, and you do more positively. You make a point of making those words part of your day-to-day life. No one can reject you. You cannot be diminished unless you choose to let those words in. So if anyone else even tried it, you lock it out. You simply lock out criticism. You or anybody else cannot criticize you without your permission. So you bar it. It's never allowed again in your life. And as you go deeper now, you're aware of the way you need to talk to yourself, the words you need to use, and the tone of your voice has an extra powerful effect on you. You're having the most wonderful praising voice now build you up, and your praise is doing an amazing job, and you feel amazing, and you bring yourself down less and less, and you switch your focus with ease. You practice changing your focus every day. Anytime you see or hear or feel a negative thought, you look at it and catch it for a second and turn it around. That old life now is so far behind you, it is out of your life. We all advance and we all improve, and we all learn from mistakes, and we will learn from new situations. You're allowed to make mistakes, and you're not diminished, and no one else could diminish you unless you let that criticism in. So you don't. You bar it. It's barred. It's no longer allowed in your life. You're learning every day to praise yourself and to feel good about yourself. You feel great about yourself. So just let yourself go deeper now, just for a few more minutes. And every day, in every way, you're going to see yourself praising yourself more and more, and criticizing yourself less and less and less, because you have a brilliant brain. And that means you have choice, and you have to choose to be diminished. So whether it is someone criticizing you or you criticizing you, you lock that out. It is never allowed. It's barred. Even if you think a negative thought about yourself, you catch it and you turn it around, because positivity is a practice, and it's something which you do easily now. You're practicing it every day, and you remember that your mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. You can't praise and criticize yourself at the same time. You can only do one thing at a time, and you're picking the right one. You're choosing to praise yourself. You can't be grateful and fearful at the same time. So you're choosing the right one. You're choosing to be grateful, and you're choosing to change your focus easily each and every day. And as you praise yourself, you cannot be rejected. So just let yourself go deeper now, and just let that praise wash over you like a wave. Praise is becoming so familiar now, and criticism unfamiliar. And you can never go back to it, because a mind expanded can never go back to what it was before. And your mind has been expanded here. You've learnt the lessons, and you've learnt what you need to do to be positive. You need to change your focus. You need to concentrate on your language, and you need to take action. Those are 3 suggestions which will stay with you for the rest of your life. And you only focus now on what is positive and what is good, and what is right for you and what will support you. And each and every day now, these habits are becoming more ingrained within you. They are a part of you. They always have been. You don't need me to give you positivity. You need to do positivity. And this is what you do each and every day as you move forward. So you're praising yourself, you're loving yourself, and you are completely nourished. You have a great deal of respect for yourself and love for yourself, and you're nourishing. You are solution orientated, and your mind and body knows it, and it trusts you. It trusts you to find your way. All the time, every day, it is your choice. You choose positivity now, and you choose it by completing those 3 actions. You change your focus, you change your language, and you take action all the time. So knowing it, feeling it, believing it, you are slowly, calmly and easily, effortlessly returning back to your full awareness now. Knowing that praise is the right thing to do, and praise is something you're going to do after this recording. Because if you didn't think there was a way, you wouldn't have listened till the end. Well done. Praise yourself and take action. So knowing you did a phenomenal job now, on the count of 5 and 4, you start to return to your full awareness. On the count of 3 and 2 now, just feeling the need to stretch. And on 1, you will open your eyes. So thanks again for taking the time to listen to today's recording. I sincerely hope that has given you some food for thought and some actions which you can take forward. Again, my name's Sharon and I'm from the TDF. The TDF stands for the Disability Foundation. Now, the Disability Foundation is a charity which is based within the hospital, and we've been going for 20 years. So I'm there every Saturday morning. I have another colleague who does hypnotherapy on a Monday. But we don't just do hypnotherapy, we do a whole range of stuff. We've got nutritionists, massage therapists, people who do Reiki, all sorts of things. So please do look us up. The website is www.tdf.org. Or please give us a call, look us up on the website. And if you do have anything else you want us to cover in these sessions on the radio, please send us an email at studio@radiobrockley.org. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for your time, and be good to yourself as always, and have a great week.